Mrs. Bowers?
Yeah, okay, I've got 6:15, and we're gonna start our workshop with regards to the town office location. We met with the planning board, and we've just got 15 minutes, so we're just gonna jump right into it, because their meeting starts at 6:30. So, appreciate everybody getting together, first of all, that was great.
Good job.
What's any initial thoughts or feelings on that? We went to the
bridge, of whether or not that's in resource protection or it's in floodplain management.
Sure.
Shoreline zone's part of resource protection, and it's designated by map and by word. I haven't looked at the floodplain management map for years. I know downtown is down below the dam.
Right.
Is.
Just so somebody listening will know, we all went to the Veterans Field to scope out a possible location for the future town office. So that's what Jerry's referencing about floodplain and such, so.
We've got a back doorway of wetland edge.
Maybe
Maybe one
this-
was hanging up right there. Oh, is that it?
There, water repairing, probably, well, this is good.
As far as the planning board goes, that would be the things we'd be interested in, the stream setback, the Great Pond setback, and whether or not it's in floodplain management.
Those would be important, for sure.
Right.
Yep. One of the things it struck me, because I kind of was driving back and forth, is that, if we went way to the back, you're dealing with a long length of electricity, I'm guessing. Obviously, we're gonna have to drill a well and put a septic there, where we may have one up front. There seems to be some thought that there was one there, but no one can seem to find it yet, so I don't know. But, probably the well would be easier to find than the leach field, I don't know.
It was hand dug, so I don't think there's anything to find.
Oh, okay.
Somebody said he dug with an excavator and never found it, so I'm guessing we might find the septic, but.
Yeah. And of course, we have to build, if, one thought was if we were nearer the road, we could do this incrementally. You could have your town office with your parking lot, with a longer range plan of the road that went around like we're talking about. If we build in the back, of course, we're gonna have to have the road to start with, so it becomes a much, budgetarily, it's gonna be a lot bigger bite, I would think.
I mean.
Riley was mentioning that possibly, if we need a site visit, but, the boat landing has been looked at, it does need to be upgraded, and there may be some grant money available to help with that, so the road end of it, to get back there, might be part of that as well. We don't know that yet, it's preliminary, but it's another piece to it.
I'll call him tomorrow. But I think Mike's point,
You find the map.
Yeah, but it's small. It's-
Not detailed enough to really tell you?
No, but, yeah, but another eye can look at things.
pine trees, with Terry had that.
The other thing too, that I didn't think a lot about it, but, well, obviously I did myself, but I didn't think a lot about the public perception of it until Jerry actually mentioned it when we were out there. If we do go to the back of that property, and by doing so, we improve that area and make that more public use, that's another win as far as the community. Not only do they get the town office, the new meeting area, but it also revitalizes and it makes all of that more accessible, more user-friendly, and a nice place for everybody. So that's kind of another good part.
It's a really nice piece of property.
It's a beautiful.
I bet a lot of people in town have no idea
Yeah.
how nice it is. And it has a lot of potential. We could have picnic tables and We talked about trail, it's beautiful.
Good. Perhaps the tape of Jerry, planning board chair. From my perspective, if whatever we do with this building or out there, these benefit people in more than one way, not just financially. And if we're just building a new town office out there, personally, I'd be opposed to it. I know I have one building town. But if I saw a plan laid out where it's going to benefit our people, that would make a difference to me as a voter.
Even if, obviously, the price tag is bigger, you know, if we set it back there, you know, just bringing in electricity and all of that, you know, those, that doesn't give you pause? No? Oh, no, it's,
I think
That's-
we need some realistic estimates on
Right.
what all that will cost.
right.
Because putting a road and electricity and parking lots and
Well,
all that.
septic,
Yep.
Yeah, and you could even have you could have two proposals. You could have, here's the plan A, we're in the back, and it's gonna look like this, and here's plan B, and it still would be very, very nice, but, the future might include the new road, and then people could decide. Just being able to all get together again under one roof and have a kind of a modern setting, I think there's some value in that. Because wherever we put it, there's gonna be plenty of room for parking and town meetings, and, we could even have, other events there. People wanted to use it for a wedding or something, who knows, I don't know, but.
Well, not that, my own thing too, as far, like last year, I thought it was very nice to have town meeting in a nice building. You know, it was clean, it was carpeted, there was decent chairs, everything was laid out nicely in there for the meeting. Now, some people have their own views of the building itself, which I have no preference there. To me, it was a nice event, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, just so that we had that type of a room on the inside for everybody to meet. So that's the other big benefit, I think, with this, doing this building. If we can do this and have that back at the town office again, that would be nice.
Because if we were just going cheap as possible, you could do a trailer on a slab and call it a day, right? And collect your registrations, but this is kind of your point, Jerry, I'm not sure that, it would save people money, but beyond that, I don't think it's.
I mean, really, for what we need for a town office, 2-car garage is big enough. I mean, we don't need a lot of space to do what we need to do. You know, when you add the library into there, yeah, that's a little bit more of a footprint, but really, the bigger price tag is gonna be to have that, be able to have the town meeting in the basement. Which I think is pretty important, so.
I suspect people would support it, but maybe not, who knows?
The other thing going forward, I mean, who knows what our normal is going to look like, and whether town meeting is gonna be more of a Zoom, yes, there are gonna be people that want to attend and be there, but, do we think about having more of the ability to connect everybody via Zoom for a meeting like this, so more people could, and Dale, you've talked about that as far as having,
Right.
more ability to connect to the outside when we're having these meetings.
I mean, it's like right now, I mean, Bridie's into a laptop. It's pretty nice to be able to just have a when you're in a meeting, that she has all the information's available. You know, if we had a nice room set up for meeting hall, then you could have a screen on the wall, so there is no more stack of papers and handouts and wondering who's on the right page when you're talking about something. You could do it right off a laptop and have it on the screen, and everybody would see the right information. There's a lot of benefits.
Yeah, I could see going through the warrant, and everybody's looking at,
Right.
everybody can see the warrant as you're going through it.
Right.
It would be helpful.
Right.
And if we're gonna build it, we could build it so we could accommodate all those things.
smart room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
kind
go, there you go. And so therefore, perhaps doesn't need to be huge, because, we're gonna count, that there's gonna be a component of the people in Sangerville that are going to attend via Zoom as opposed to coming to the town meeting. I mean, I don't know.
We have more copies of this.
I can make as many as we need, so. Not today, but I can make them.
And honestly, right now, I mean,
copy those, you know.
Oh,
right now, we're doing, we record everything and we put that online, but if you had the right room and the right setup, you could easily do all of them if you wanted to that way.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people are finding that they like staying home and accessing from home, you know?
That's fine.
So, it might be a possibility.
So you're thinking, and we should have options, one, build it down kind of behind, between the present parking lot where we first parked, down at that end of the section of woods, and the road's still gonna go up by and go up to the, where the beach is right now. Roads going up through there regardless of where we build. And then option two is to put it up on the hill.
Yep.
We had already kind of agreed, I mean, obviously, we can't agree to put a road in, we need the town to agree to do it. But as a group, after dealing with the people from the rec and all the problems they're having there, we all agreed, the solution, there needs to be a road going around and not through the middle. This is good because it kind of kills two birds.
Right,
So, that's the concept.
right.
I don't know about the contour of the land, but if the parking was down below and back, that's fine. If it ended up in front, fine, it doesn't matter. But,
The only thing about
yeah,
out
you
front
can make
is
it work probably.
I just don't know about being able to do a daylight style basement out front.
Right. Right. But,
Appearance-wise, it probably looked better if it was in the back,
100%.
Yeah.
because you did all
I looked at
landscaped, and you could have an asphalt ramp, so your ramps would be kind of part of the contour.
right.
And same thing, your access on the back would be at ground level now, so you wouldn't need another ramp.
So as you go up, it could fit one or in the middle or up further.
Correct.
So there's three proposed spots as to the cost.
I don't know if I'd wanna get that many options.
One and two. And a
One and
road
two,
going through anyway.
And we might be a proposal with or without a library. This is the time for the town to decide, are they gonna continue with the library or not? The library tells me they only need about 600 square feet, so, and we know they have plenty of money in order to support themselves. It's probably gonna continue to be around $10,000 a year to have a library. If the town wants to keep doing that, this is their chance to decide.
Right.
So there could be a proposal with and without. I suspected that they would go with, but you never know.
So when does the work on this building have to be done?
Actually, the COVID kinda stopped,
Gave us
the
an
insurance
improvement.
company stopped hounding us, and so we don't really know an answer to that.
Well, we're already paying increased rates, right?
We no longer have the actual
Yeah.
cost value on this, no
Correct.
longer have what it would cost to replace it. They won't insure it.
They won't insure.
Our deductible has gone up
Yeah.
to, I believe it's 1,000. Although some things might be up to 5,000, but
Yeah.
But we're not in blanket either, right?
we're not, and we can't do a blanket.
Yeah, that was the other thing, it affected all of our properties.
So, and then they wanted to see some improvement, but with COVID, they kind of said,
Yeah.
yeah, we understand, nothing's happening, but,
So we don't per se
I don't
have
know how long
a
they-
deadline date, it's just costs are gonna go up.
So I mean, I realize nobody has a crystal ball and knows what's gonna happen down the road, but obviously with the heating situation, 12 grand, like 12 grand a year to heat this place?
Yeah, right, with electricity and, yeah, we're over 10 grand a year easily. And I mean, it's not surprising, you just walk around, Bridie's windows are broken, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just,
it is, yeah. It was broken when I got there.
yeah, that's-
I was honest.
So just figure over 10 years, at 12 grand a year, it's 120 grand.
yep.
Yeah,
In a new building, if you could get the cost of the heat and the electricity down to $35 a year,
Sure.
you're cutting it,
It's just all found money,
yeah, that's
yeah,
a lot of money.
Yep.
And you're saving.
yep.
I mean, who knows what this place is gonna need after you put $400,000 in the foundation? What's this place
It's always
gonna
gonna
need?
need
What's the
something.
next thing that's
Yeah.
gonna go
It needs another 400,000 right now. I mean,
on top of the foundation?
yeah, I mean, you got upstairs that you're never gonna do anything with it. Everybody, half the people say they wanna fix it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's endless what you could put into this building.
You're gonna need 2 to 3 in the cellar, and then they were saying when you start tearing into that, to keep this area, what we're using up to code, they were talking another 100. So there's 400.
That's
And
the
then if-
walking,
and then if-
what you got.
And then if you look at the upstairs, you want to be able to use that ever again, or to restore it, I mean, you're talking,
Well, the hall in Dover Foxcroft is a good example. That was 2.4 million. It came out beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
It's really nice. But I think we're somewhere between those two numbers. I don't know that they had to start with 300 and 400,000 in the foundation, so, but if we did that, there's probably, you could get it there. But a $2.4 million project for Sangerville is not the same as it is for Dover Foxcroft.
Oh, yeah, no, that's for sure.
We get more for a buck.
Well, we got a lot fewer people pulling the wagon,
Right.
so it's, yeah.
You as a taxpayer would get a lot bigger buck.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
it would be.
We're at a point now where Jerry's meeting has to start.
Right.
So, I think it's only fair that we adjourn this workshop, is that?
We can adjourn, or we can take us, if we need to talk.
Yeah,
further,
we'll
We
just,
can just move us over to the other room, and you guys can start your meeting, and
Do we want to meet after the planning board, or?
if, you depend on how long you are, but yeah, we would, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just make one comment before we close. Before it would go to the people, you'd have to have a much better proposal.
Oh,
We're not even close yet.
yeah, we're not even.
And a clear picture of what our options are, if we just stayed downstairs, or if we did do the upstairs. We know where the foundation was. I would just urge you to spell out both options.
As far as what, you mean fixing this building?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only way people can.
We've already presented, my own opinion, we've already presented them numbers, and the only way you're gonna get any deeper is we have to spend money to get somebody to come in here and provide those
Closer
numbers.
appraisal.
4,500 or 5,000 will get you a detailed plan of what everything will, what each
Yeah,
step
you
will
could,
cost.
for another $5,000, you can get a more realistic idea of,
Right.
yeah.
And we've already had multiple contractors here to give the numbers we've got. So I'm a little reluctant myself to spend $5,000 more to really tell us what we've already heard.
As long as it's clear in the presentation to the people, that
Were they all consistent?
Pretty close.
is you may have a group rise up in opposition to what you'd like to do. You won't have the only voice at town meeting.
No, well, that happened last meeting. I mean, there were a number of people some people were quite emotional.
Yeah.
I get it, but I haven't had anybody who, when they really looked at the numbers, because the point that I made about Dover Foxcroft and their size, or a place like Herman and their size, and Sangerville, if you bite off a $2 million project, $2.5 million project, and I can look at the person whose home is worth $100,000 and tell him it's gonna cost you $5,000, then all of a sudden the interest wanes,
Yeah.
because that's a real number.
Not gonna happen, I can tell you that.
Well,
You're in a small town, no one's gonna let you, they're not gonna wanna pay those kind of taxes.
and then
Tell
you
right
invest
now,
that money,
I just bought a lot on a lake and I'll sell it.
and you get this
Because I'm
huge
not paying
monster
that
to
kind
take
of
care of.
taxes in Sangerville.
I don't want my taxes going up. I don't want to go up.
Well,
How much would taxes go up for the proposed?
that's the beauty. Let's say you can finish that thing soup to nuts with your roads, everything done, and you're in there for 500. You're done. You've got a building now you're gonna heat for $2,500 a year. You don't have $100,000 worth of stained glass. You don't, all of that goes away.
20-year maintenance free, roughly.
Roughly, modern windows, modern
You're gonna pay
roofing.
over the next 20 years, but you're not gonna have, not what you're gonna have here in 20 years.
And our mill rate stays the same.
Yeah.
But then we still got the disposition of this building.
That's
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 totally,
another
yeah.
project. Totally different project, but yes.
With everybody we seem to have with a passion for this building, or an interest for this building to stay here, I haven't heard of anybody with enough interest to join the historical society to come up with a plan to do anything with this building. There's a lot of people with an interest for it, but everybody with an interest for it is looking at it through the eyes that the tax people of Sangerville are gonna pay for it. And the more you talk to the taxpayers of Sangerville, they don't wanna pay for this. So, somewhere, there's a give and a take, and I'm not sure where it's gonna go, but if, you know, I just don't see how we can absorb this. But I don't want it to be an Aggie Fowler and be on the books for the next 20 years either, so.
No. Well,
To be continued.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for delaying your meeting for us.
well, thank you for
So-
inviting us.
Yeah.
Do we need to follow up on anything, like whether or not that's in floodplain now?
That would be
Yes.
awesome.
That would be
Any
great.
details like that would be
The more
really
information
helpful.
you guys can provide us, the
Yep,
better.
yep,
Yeah,
yeah, particularly anything that might be obstructive, because we need to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Not impossible, but obstructive.
Yeah, or costly, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yep. All right, so we'll adjourn our workshop at
adjourn or just
6:35.
move?
We'll, yeah, then we'll restart over there.